can be carried out, that learning can proceed in the right way, that people can love and worship the way they want to. That is a problem. Everywhere is affected. It unfolds closer and closer to us every day. In Kwara, in Kogi, it is said that the southwest states are the safest part of Nigeria. Why do you not feel safe? Because, as Aare Onakakanfo has pointed out, if we don't want what is happening to happen elsewhere, we have to understand that today we're under siege, we're in a place of emergency, and we have to start acting that way. It is paramount that we recognize that insecurity in Yoruba land is like a bad, malicious tenant that comes in there, that does not pay the rent, that does not treat people well, and plans to take over, and plans to live by humiliation, subjugation, and bad oppression, that sucks the blood out of the life of the people they live in. Such malevolent presence tends to cause destruction and sow the seed of fear. The tenants we are dealing with, unwanted, not tolerable, not friendly, wicked presence that wants to destroy us. But we're very fortunate because Yoruba land is blessed with the right landlord. What is the landlord that Yoruba land has that can confront this menace that wants to destroy us? It is our people, it is our institution, our culture, the values that have forged us into a civilization that has resisted across oceans, a civilization that is respected by the rest of the world, although some of us do our best to destroy it. May God forgive those who try to destroy Yoruba heritage and change them. Our sacred duty is therefore to preserve what is ours, employing wisdom, strategic action, unity of purpose. It is only through such concerted efforts that we can secure a future where peace, honor, and our culture will reign with integrity. Please allow me to remind us the kind of threat we face when we talk about insecurity again. Allow me a mix that we're sure of, but it's good to point it out. I list it so that we can deal with each one. Kidnappings on our road. The roads that we used to know for akara, pepper soup, dodo ikire, is now a place of fear. That needs to be reviewed. We need to understand what we're missing. Insecurity is what attacks the farmers that feed us. And as has been said before, the price of the food there skyrockets. We talk about the big insecurity of kidnapping, banditry, but we must also take in consideration petty crimes. Petty crimes of beggars that are becoming aggressive. Under the guise of begging, they're actually forcing. These are things that make mockery of our civilization. We used to pride ourselves as people who are not beggars. Ori mi ma jẹ ntọrọ jẹ, òun làdúrà àná. Àwọn kan wà sí ojoojúmọ́ ló ń tọrọ jẹ. Ọlọ́run á bá wa bó ṣìwé o. We must understand that insecurity not only takes away what is material, but it diminishes our person, it diminishes our culture. When Yoruba people start to close their gates earlier than usual, when we start to reduce the time we focus on greeting each other because we have to run away, because we are not sure. When we go to gatherings and we have to make sure the person next to us, we look at our bag in our phones, then we are in big trouble. A big trouble that is not just the security of stealing, it is the extension of poverty, desperation, that we must know that our leaders need to fight. There is a freedom that some of the people with grey hair have enjoyed. To close at work at 5 p.m. in Lagos, to get in your car and drive all the way to Akure that night. There's a whole generation that does not dare that. Reckless as it sounds, it's a sign of freedom. Insecurity is curtailing that freedom. The idea that people who work in Ibadan, who have good school, but for tradition's sake, will decide to send their children to maybe St. Andrews or Christ School in Ado Ekiti. The fact that people cannot even do something anymore, it is a sign that our life is being curtailed, and we have to look at seriously. These are cultural crises that forces our tradition and our values to be diminished. Besides taking our land, we need to look at it. I say this thing for us to realize that when we talk about insecurity, it is not enough. This is very important. It is not enough for us to save ourselves by avoiding to go to unsafe places or using safe cars or closing up ourselves. That is not enough. Security is a collective issue that diminishes our being. It turns us to tenants in our land. It turns us to slaves where we ought to be kings. The issue of security brings forward a paradox, an ironic truth that we need to examine. We hail from a people that can deal with things. We have a tradition, we have the institution. But something strange has happened. We have built a modern state, the states across Nigeria, the whole of Nigeria, that has not taken into account where we were coming from. It has not built its future on our solid past. That is why there is this irony and paradox I was talking about. We hail from a people that have pioneered the system of checks and balance of the Oyomesi. Long before Locke wrote the theory of division of power, or Montesquieu conceived this idea. It was part of us to know that the rulers have to be accountable, and if they are not accountable, we can tell them to take their leave. And yet, we have built a nation that hasn't passed that. Therein lies part of our problem. Our communities of the past, they had hunters, and I greet the hunters here, and I thank the Aare Onakakanfo for remembering the hunters and to be present here. Our communities of the past had night guards. They had market authorities that were more efficient than CCTV because they were alert and they were deployed. What has changed? We have built states that does not recognize these important things. We have created policing authority that does not understand the need and does not demonstrate the ability to create an harmonious blend between the past, the present, and the creation of a future. A future that knows what we have, that values it, and tries to deploy it into what we want. We're fully aware that the threats of security come from external sources, and they come from internal sources. I personally don't care where they come from. For me, anybody, I do not really spend my time on saying some enemies are from outside, some enemies are inside. Because in reality, whether they're coming from far away or they're coming from close by, the fact remains that Tikule Obakpani. We must therefore look at our first self. We have to create a society in which those who are inside should understand that it is an abomination to be friendly with enemies of peace. They have to understand that it is sacrilege to sell to buy from, to rent to those who can destroy us. If the outsiders that come to destroy us have a code that will not allow them to expose themselves, we should develop a code that anybody that tries to kill any one of us is an enemy of all of us. We have to start thinking along that way. I've been called here today to share some strategies about how we can combat banditry. So let us share some very practical thoughts. The first step, I believe, is for us to cultivate a very clear awareness. We must understand that we, our brethren outside Yoruba land, outside the states that we've been confined to, and all of us inside here, we are engaged in a conflict with ruthless, dehumanizing enemies who, regardless, I don't care about their identity, about their motive, whether it's spiritual, whether it's poverty, whether it's anything, it doesn't matter to me. We must understand that we are dealing with people who are ready to degrade our life, threaten our system, destroy our property, and turn us to slaves. Therefore, we must see the fight against insecurity as a war of liberation. We need to build our community intelligence system very quickly. Yoruba history, Yoruba security began from the street, not from one distant office. It began from neighborhood. Let communities organize properly, and from now on, let us consolidate and structure our vigilance network. Let our security start from our palaces, from our local government institution, from our community development association, our community development association. Let it now go to security agencies because it starts from home. More than ever does charity begin from home. And that home is the house of individual of us, one of us. Not that we close our gate and we leave the rest. We close our gate and stay alert from the window, watching out that we all are guardsmen of our security, of our community. We must prioritize the localization of our system, ensuring that information flows very quickly, upward and downward. It was faster than before. After all, there's a saying that says that the one who knows the terrain will protect you better than the outsider. We must use that knowledge. We must insist that our government at the state level and at the federal level, we must insist that they empower community structures to operate. They must have the legal backing. They must effectively be in charge, not as a mere parallel, not as a parallel structure to the government forces, but they must be fundamental bedrock upon which the government forces is built, because they are the ones that are closer. It is time to ask ourselves about Amotekun. What do we want to do with Amotekun? My thinking is that we need to wake up and elevate Amotekun, not by mouth, but by praises, but by investing to take it to a prominence of professionalism. We need to expand it, we need to empower it. Amotekun was born out of necessity and the courage to respond. And at this point, I would like us really to, a round of applause to remember the late Arakunrin Olurotimi Akeredole. Amotekun so has proven its value, but it must evolve. It is in a short time, but that's the way the history of the world is written now. You don't need 20 years to see a difference. It has done a lot. It is time for us to evolve it. We must evolve it by standardizing it. Training in intelligence, human rights, modern weaponry, seamless integration with police database. We must then develop for it comprehensive welfare and insurance. I sat with Aare the other time and he was telling me some of his processes. While he was talking to me with passion and vision, I was thinking of budget and my heart was doing gigum, gigum. That this is all you need to do. We must think along that line to see how things work. You see, because a formidable tiger or a leopard can only act if the terrain is conducive. No matter how strong a lion, a tiger, or a leopard is, if the terrain is not conducive, there will be trouble. Let me also state very clearly here that I would like to advise our brethren and all of us to start pushing now to the government of Kogi and Kwara State that it's time to get the model of Amotekun, not tomorrow. Practically, let them sit down after the summit. The statement we go out of this should be a recommendation that community security should be taken across everywhere we care about. Let us make it available to everybody, but let us insist on the areas of our own concern that it happens. We must support our brethren in those places when they start to advocate for things like this. We must provide training, we must provide partnership, we must provide support for them everywhere that they require it. We from Yoruba land must make it our duty to ensure that Nigeria decentralizes its policing. It is an odd place, and it has been said, it is a very strange thing for us to expect Abuja to know where somebody is hiding in Oshogo. It is just, there's something illogical about it, and we need to bring light to that. Let us be clear, there is no question about it. Centralized police force cannot secure a diverse federation. It is just absolute planting tomatoes and expect corn to grow. It does not work. Our constitution framework must evolve. It must allow state policing, community policing, and I even talk about localized command, community command that knows the environment. Yes, it is a good time to clap. They are not clapping, tell them. We must insist while they're arguing. You see, this battle is a continuous battle. We spent years telling them about state policing. Now, many people are agreeing. Let us push the boundary. While they are doing state policing, let us start talking about local government policing. While they are talking about, let them talk about community policing. That is the way forward. That is what we are known for. That is why Yoruba people are the progressive. Because we push the boundaries and we need to keep pushing it. Decentralization, let me be clear, is not about division. It is a strategic approach that enhances efficacy and efficiency. That is why we divide it. Fortunately, many of those who were initially opposed to decentralizing policing are now coming round. I call it the orange factor. Because those who are saying no before, all of a sudden, they are seeing that they must. It is important that we forge alliances with those who agree with what we are pushing. We must not hate or discard those who disagree with us. Some of them do so out of ignorance. Let us educate them. Some of them do so out of malice or mischievousness. Let us overcome them. I believe in engaging with people of good heart, and I believe in fighting with people with a bad mind. That is the way to approach this thing. We must know those who are confused, and we must know those who are bad, and we should deal with them accordingly. We must reevaluate our approach to security in the farmland, wherever that farmland is, because it is from that land that we get food. When I was a little boy, I was always around the kitchen, as you can see my side, because I knew that the first source of comfort is coming from the kitchen. So I always made sure the kitchen was clean and everything was fine. All the problem in the house, at a very tender age, I knew the kitchen must be protected, because that is where food will come from. Now that we're grown up, it is time for us to develop that mentality and to know that our farmland is a crucial place for us. Because we therefore need to let government know that any governance that fails to protect the rural areas is a failing government. We need to make sure that our highways are not weak anymore, but they are places that are well covered. If government or governance fails on farmland, on highway, that government will fail in many other places. And even if they succeed in one place, how do you transport what you have succeeded in to another place if the roads are not safe? That itself is something that we need to look at. Practically, we need to establish dedicated highway security forces that are not there to check documents when you see them. They are there to ensure that criminals cannot strike because they know they cannot get away with it. We need to utilize drones for our surveillance, and we need to let everybody know that we can see them. Yeah. It is important for us to create mechanisms and processes that ensure that when we have security people liaison between our farmers, our hunters, and security officers. This kind of process will foster communications, exchange of intelligence, and will consolidate security. We must ensure that all those people, whether in high places or low places, that abet, support, facilitate criminals, identified, unveiled, and prosecuted at all times. Our goal for our farms and our roads must be to make sure very clearly that those who are planning to commit crime, when they think of our road, when they think of our farm, they should be seeing risk. They should be seeing threat to their life. They should be seeing the possibility of going out and not coming back, not opportunities. They should look at our road. Criminals should look at our road and know this is a very dangerous place to do anything. Criminals should look at our farm and know that if I try any farm in Yoruba land, I might not come back home. We need to deploy whatever I need to do that. We must modernize our intelligence gathering and our investigative processes. Everything is advancing in the digital age. Even criminals are going digital. It therefore breaks my heart to see that our security architecture is still analog. The police station that spent 3 hours to write a statement. The police that you call and it takes them 4 hours to arrive. That has to change. We have to go digital in all this way. The same way people are, what we are doing now, while Aare was speaking, I am inside this room with him. My telephone was in front of me. Somebody sent me his picture from what he was saying, that he shot video on my phone there from Atlanta. Here we are. I've not even stood up. Wow. That is the world we're dealing with. To show me that I see you. Our security forces needs to act that way as well. They cannot be analog when they're dealing with digital criminals. We must embrace real-time reporting apps. They are there. We need to find it. We need to invest in verified emergency hotlines. Phone numbers must work. They should be there and they must work. We need to spend time in forensic investigation units that are able to do it. We are in a place where we cannot find criminals that have committed offense that has happened not too long ago. We talked about one of our colleagues, a professor from Bangkok University, and many others, that they cannot find perpetrators of the crime. The world is investigating crimes that was committed 200 years ago with forensic, and they are finding them. And part of this world, our children are part of it. We need to improve on data sharing. We need fresh perspective on our youth opportunity program as well. It is important for us to embrace the aspiration. Maybe we succeed or not, but we must embrace the aspiration where we create a forum where our young people will be too busy to commit crime. The way to do it is to give them things that can give reward, that they know that truly there's dignity in labor, that they build things. Vocational centers need to be seen. We need to promote our creative industry, support SME and agriculture. We need to expand on sport and initiative. Too many young children are not doing sports again. I'm very worried about this. We're building houses with no sporting facility. We're killing talent and promoting lazy, criminal-prone people. We need to fight that. Let me conclude, because this man is standing near me. Let me conclude that one of what we need to do today, Kábíyèsí, gbogbo yín ni mo kí, Aare Onakakanfo, gbogbo yín ni mo kí. Allow me, given that you've taken the risk to invite me, to insist that moving forward from this place today, led by Aare Onakakanfo, the government and the federal government, and insist security must begin from our community. And we must insist that our community policing and security gathering has to be empowered legally, operationally, and financially. Because whatever the police does, whatever the army does, they should be built on the bedrock of community policing and security if we want to truly combat insecurity in Southwest.
LLM, MBA, MSc, PhD, PGC. Keep clapping for Professor Anthony. Hey, killer, don't stop clapping. Congratulations. What a successful delivery. Congratulations. God bless you, sir. May your days be long. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's time cultural. Let's go. Oh, yeah.
Dúró Ẹ má balẹ̀ ayé jẹ́ mọ́, ẹ má ṣe hùwà ìkà, ẹ má ṣe dàrú. Ọba tó jẹ́ orúkọ rẹ̀ ní parẹ́ láyé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ kàbí sí ọ̀rọ̀ kàkà, ọ̀rọ̀ òtítọ́ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí, ká sọ̀rọ̀ òtítọ́ fúnra wa. Ṣìbọ́lá 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 àwa ò fẹ́. Ìlú bàjẹ́ o, àmàlà tètè bọ̀. Ẹ wá kà wá o, àmàlà tètè bọ̀. 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 Ìlú bàjẹ́ o, àmàlà tètè bọ̀. Ẹ wá kà wá o. Amẹ́ríkà la mọ̀ lọ. Òun ló lè tún bá ṣe. Ààrẹ tí rẹ̀ ò Trump. Abẹ́lójú rẹ̀. Àbẹ̀tí Trump kọ́dé. Ìlú ìtọ́lẹ̀ tọrọ. Nígbà tí Trump kọ́dé ní ìlú ìtọ́lẹ̀ náírà. Ìjọba Amẹ́ríkà o. Ẹ bà wá kalẹ̀ o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Àmọ̀nà o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Ìlú bàjẹ́ o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Ẹ wá kà wá o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Buhari ló lè ṣe. Irọ́ la mi pa. Aṣíwájú sí ẹ̀dá o. Ìpèlára yege. A ò lè bọ́ ta nílé mọ́. Ọkùn nílé ọkùn lóde. Àwọn ẹni gbé ìpọ̀jù. Wàhálà ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Ó ti ní ilẹ̀ Kwara. Ó bẹ nínú orí o. Ó ti ní ilẹ̀ Kwara. Ó bẹ nínú orí o. Ìjọba Amẹ́ríkà o. Ẹ gbà wá kalẹ̀. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Àmọ̀nà tètè wá o. Ìlú bàjẹ́ o. Wá gbà wá o. Àmọ̀nà tètè bọ̀. Nígbà tí Trump kọ́dé. Ìlú ìtọ́lẹ̀ tọrọ. Àbí tí Trump kọ́dé ní lọ́lẹ̀ náírà. Ìjọba Amẹ́ríkà o.
No, like Trump bow. Yes, we want Trump. No, you want Trump. Libya, bye everybody, come kill Gaddafi. Yes. So if Trump and America come our land, he go pack all our resources, we carry and go. Yeah.
There is so much insecurity and insurgency in our country, majorly caused by Boko Haram and ISWAP. Today, we are faced with so much insecurity issues, such as terrorism. Terrorism came as a combination of political, social, economic, and religious factors, which include
Poor governance, corruption, instability, poverty, unemployment,
which creates a breeding ground for violence, religious extremism, political manipulation, qualification of weapons. All of this, and I say all of this, contributes to the rise of terrorism.
kidnapping and banditry,
Targeting schools, community, asking for huge amount, lead to
a lot of adoption.
Insurgency, continual conflict within terror groups like Boko Haram and Iswa, involving attacks on our military, Fulani and Fulani herdsmen,
have caused so many violence, conflict, and ethnic tension.
Religious violence,
several attacks on religious sites affecting mostly Christians.
These insecurity issues are majorly caused by
Corruption and bad governance.
exploitation of ethnic and religious differences,
Weak security apparatus.
Lack of intelligence.
Aṣíwájú gbà.
Aṣíwájú gbà wá.
Ìlú mà ti dàrú.
Ìlú mà ti dàrú. Ìlú mà ti dàrú.
Ọ̀pọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ dúró.
Ògo gbọ́dọ̀ dúró. Ògo gbọ́dọ̀ dúró.
Àwa ni wá kọ́kọ́.
Ará ni wá kọ́kọ́.
Ará ni wá kọ́kọ́.
Inú ìlú tàwa ń gbé wá. Inú ìlú ti jòyè gbé. Inú ìlú tàwa ń gbé wá. Inú ìlú ti jòyè gbé.
Ayé ti wá sún wa.
Ayé ti wá sún wa. Ayé ti wá sún wa.
Èmi ti tún pa wá.
Èmi sì tún pa wá. Èmi sì tún pa wá.
Ọmọ wa tán lórí.
Ọba wa tán lórí. Ọba wa tán lórí.
Kò sẹ́rọ̀ jílẹ̀ mọ́.
Kò sáròjinlẹ̀ mọ́. Kò sáròjinlẹ̀ mọ́. Ó sì fọkànbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa fún gbogbo ará ìlú. Ó sì fọkànbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa fún gbogbo ará ìlú.
Ẹ lọ fọkàn balẹ̀. Ìdí fọkàn mi. Ìdí fọkàn ojú. Thank you very much. Another big round of applause for this evaluation on network. The youth. Let me quickly do this. Permit me to recognize the presence of the Atoloye Aare Onakakanfo Chief Barrister Comrade Babajide Tanimoro